With President Yoon expected to hold a series of meetings with NATO member countries next week, our correspondent Oh Soo-young spoke to a global security expert on what those talks will focus on.
South Korea and NATO countries are expected to express their solidarity against the growing military ties between Russia and North Korea and seek practical cooperation in arms and cybersecurity. That's according to Ramon Pacheco Pardo, Professor of International Relations at King's College London, as Ho's top office announced on Friday that President Yoon Suk Yeol will meet with various European leaders on the sidelines of the NATO Summit in Washington D.C. Speaking with Arirang Pacheco Pardo said Yoon's attendance at the annual summit is likely to be received with support for Seoul's objection to the recent military and economic treaty forged by Moscow and Pyongyang, agreeing to aid each other militarily upon aggression.
South Korea's standing has grown in recent years, especially since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, with South Korea providing all sorts of support for the Zelensky government. So I do think that there is a keen interest among European NATO members in meeting with President Yoon and in getting his support for Ukraine and vice versa. They will be willing to express their support for South Korea as Russia and Pyongyang strengthen ties.
NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg last month expressed concern about the growing alignment between Russia and the likes of North Korea, China and Iran. As such authoritarian actors increase their cooperation, Pacheco Pardo said Seoul's relations with NATO countries will become more elaborate and practical.
So they will focus on, for example, South Korean arms sales to different European countries, whether this is to support Ukraine or for these countries to keep those weapons. I think there will be talk about defense industry cooperation, which is an area of interest for many European countries, starting with Poland, but not only Poland. We see Romania, for example, now moving in that direction.
He added that Baltic states in particular would seek stronger cybersecurity cooperation with Seoul.
They're on the same boat because they have to defend themselves against these cyber attacks on civilian infrastructure, on private firms, but also obviously on ministries of national defense, the military as well. And there is this need for information sharing, joint exercises, sharing intelligence as well about how these cyber attacks take place. Also, obviously, many of these cyber attacks, they don't target one particular country only. We have seen with North Korea in the past targeting multiple countries at the same time. Same with Russia.
With geopolitical uncertainty ahead for South Korea and NATO countries, especially as a change in US leadership could affect Washington's relations with its allies, Pacheco Pardo emphasized the need for continued cooperation between the Indo-Pacific and transatlantic partners on the working level, from military and defense industry to supply chain resilience and economic security. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.